going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we will be doing some NFL news. There's been a lot of in the past few days. There's been some news across the NFL. Obviously we're gonna be reviewing the Julio Jones trade. Um uh that was the thumbnail of this video. Yeah, we're gonna be, and then there was some other little moves for some teams, like the Ravens. They did pick up some offensive linemen. They picked up two offensive linemen, Juwan James, and I forgot the name of the other one. I think it was yeah, I forgot, but we'll be going over that, and then we'll be going over the Aaron Rodgers situation. Every NFL video we've been doing, I have been kind of highlighting and saying my opinions on that. And then we'll be doing the AFC teams review. The AFC is really strengthened. I think this offseason. There's the Browns. There's the we'll get into that later. But yeah, we're gonna start off with the Julio Jones trade. Um, so yeah, the Julio Jones trade. This is probably this is big for the NFL. This is big for each for the AFC conference in general. Now the AFC is now really, it's a really strengthened conference now. You know I think they're gonna oh yeah, so then the Ravens signed Michael Schofield, so that veteran tackle. So yeah, they signed him, but we'll get into that later. But so on the Julio trade, that Titans offense is now looking so good. AJ Brown, he gets his wish. He really wanted Julio Jones. That's who he looked up to. He said Julio Jones is the greatest wide receiver of this generation, which I think I agree on. He's one of the all-time greats, and now he's on the Tennessee Titans, and that Tennessee Titans offense is stacked now. The defense, I think it does need some work. I'd agree on that, but sometimes your best offense can be your best defense. And this now they have a stacked offense. They have they have a decent offensive line. They have a decent quarterback. They have an elite running back. They have two elite wide receivers. So AJ Brown and Julio Jones. What that can do to the AFC, I don't know. I wouldn't call them Super Bowl contenders. I think there's like a tier for the AFC. There's like elite, and I'd put only the Chiefs and Bills in that, and then like borderline, I'd put maybe the Ravens, Titans, maybe them two, and the Browns, maybe. Um, See, I don't know. Like Tannehill is good, but like to be honest, he's so overrated. If you watch people talk about him and stuff, they overrate him. Like people even compared him to Patrick Mahomes. Like he's not that good. Okay, he was a Pro Bowler. I think he is Pro Bowl material, but I wouldn't rank him with the Lamar Jacksons, Josh Allen's. He's on like a Baker Mayfield level. His supporting cast is good enough to go deep in the playoffs, but him himself is not an MVP type player. So I mean, most teams who win the Super Bowl have an MVP quarterback. But you saw with Jimmy Garoppolo a few years ago in the San Francisco 49ers, his supporting cast was good. But yeah, this adds depth to their offense. What they can do. This is a run first offense. Derrick Henry rushing for 2,000 yards last season. He's obviously their main option on offense. They have a 1,000-yard receiver in AJ Brown, and then they have Julio Jones. So they can do a lot of plays. You can do RPOs. You can do with two options out wide in terms of wide receivers. I mean, it's going to be hard for NFL defenses. Because what's going to happen is the cornerback one, he's gonna have to guard either, I don't know whoever the receiver one is, AJ Brown or Julio Jones. That guy's being locked up. He's being double teamed, Julio Jones or AJ Brown. But then you have another one of them on the other side. I'm assuming Julio Jones is gonna be the one double teamed. But then you have an elite wide receiver in AJ Brown on the other side, who in the cornerback number 2 has to guard him, and we don't even know. We don't know what's gonna happen. I mean that's what's so good about some of these wide receiver duos, but that's going to cause so many problems. AJ Brown, he's a deep threat. He's a strong physical receiver. He's a good blocker. So, look, I think that I think this is going to get them to at least the AFC conference championship. I think when we're looking at their opponents, the Tennessee Titans, like the tier they're in, the Browns and the Ravens, I think they are the best team of that tier. But as I said, I put the Bills and the Chiefs in the more elite tier. But we'll see how the season goes. That's just my prediction right now. But I mean, that's going to be so interesting. Can they get to the AFC championship game? Because the Bills and the Chiefs are the two ones to beat, I think. But like, the AFC is turning into like the Western Conference of the NBA. For so many years the Western Conference was so stacked. And I think the AFC, I mean, I guess that's kind of turning into that. I don't know. And to get like at least the seventh seed, you're gonna have to have like an 11-5 record, something like that. But I mean, yeah, I mean, and then oh yeah, so the trade details. Julio Jones was traded for a second and fourth round pick to the Atlanta Falcons. I think Atlanta definitely benefits from this trade. They get rid of a problem that they've had. He for the past month he stated he wanted to leave. So I mean, hey, the player got what he wanted. That's always good. And then now the Atlanta Falcons, they can enter. I mean, the Atlanta Hawks are playing right now against the Sixers, but yeah, the Atlanta Falcons, they can finally start the rebuild. They just got one in Kyle Pitts, who I think is going to be an elite, probably the best tight end in the NFL in a few years' time. You have Calvin Ridley, who just came out of a breakout season. So, in a second and fourth round pick, I mean, I think that's worth it for the Falcons. They didn't and Julio Jones, like if a player wants to leave, that's never good. They're never going to be dedicated to you. So, yeah, I think it's a good deal for both parties. Both parties, they got what they wanted, I think, and um, yeah, I mean, like so for the Titans offense, they're gonna, as I said before, they're gonna be stacked. They're gonna be pretty much unstoppable. Just the defensive side of the ball is what I'm concerned about. They don't really have that um like the Ravens type of defense, like but as I said, offense can be your best defense. But yeah, those are basically my thoughts on the Jones trade. There's not that much. This news did come out like 2 days ago. So I mean I don't really have much to say about it. I mean it's pretty much expected. I knew he would go to the Titans, but AJ Brown with all that recruitment stuff, it paid off. Oh yeah, and we just did receive news like about an hour ago that Julio Jones will be wearing the number 2 jersey because AJ Brown does have the 11 jersey, which Julio did wear at the Atlanta Falcons. So AJ Brown so Julio Jones asked AJ Brown for the I mean no AJ Brown asked Julio because AJ Brown, this is his idol. He respects Julio so much. He offered the number 11 to him, but no, Julio said no. So Julio will be wearing the number 2. That's gonna look clean on him. I can't wait to see how he balls out in that. But yeah, and then I mean, just for the Titans, it's 2 elite wide receivers. Um, just a dual threat on the offense. But yeah, that's it for that. There's not much to go over. I think. I mean, a lot of other analysts and stuff have covered that. So, I mean, yeah, that's just all my opinions on that. And then let's see, what do we have next? We have Ravens sign offensive tackle Juwan James. Now, Juwan James, I think this is a good signing for the Ravens. Juwan James is injured at the moment and he will miss this season. So I heard he's gonna be on he'll be get earn 500K I think this season. I think because he's going to be rehabbing with the Ravens. The Broncos did release him because he did tear his Achilles about a month ago in a private workout, not with the Denver Broncos. So they released him. They just said, "Oh, you can go." And he did file like a grievance or something on them. So I mean, I think they'll be working on that. But whatever. This guy, he's a good tackle. He was on the Broncos. I mean, when fit, I think he is like on that borderline Pro Bowl type tier. I haven't watched him that much over the years, but I've heard some good things about him. Like I did watch a few games like last season and no, not last season, the season before, because he did opt out of 2020. But I think I hope when he does play next season 2022. This is a 2-year deal, by the way. So after 2022 season, he'll be a free agent unless they re-sign him or something. But I think I'm excited. They're really trying to prioritize the offensive line now. With last season our offensive line wasn't really the best. I don't think it was the best last season with Marshall Yonda leaving, and then Ronnie Stanley getting injured. We did trade Orlando Brown this summer. I mean this off season, but we did bring in Alejandro Villanueva. We drafted Ben Cleveland. We have Ronnie Stanley still. So there's a lot of and Bozeman at center. So that's gonna be interesting to see how that pans out. But Look, I think this is a ultimately I think this is a good signing for the Ravens. But yeah, Juwan James. I mean, it's a cool deal. You never really see these types of deals. Like if the Ravens wanted, they didn't have to sign him right now. Like they could have probably waited until next season because I don't see why anyone would pick him up with the injury. But I mean, they're gonna pay him this season 500K. That's not. I mean, I guess that's not that much. But then that's going to be pretty interesting to see how he can return. You know, the Ravens, and then they did sign Michael Schofield, so really prioritizing that offensive line. Um, that's going to be, and they did draft Blaine Cleveland. We got Alejandro Villanueva from the Steelers. That's going to add. I mean, we our offensive line depth is good right now. Can it make up for the Marshall Yonder retiring a few seasons ago? I hope it can. I'm not 100% sure it can, but Ben Cleveland at that position, and we have Tyree Phillips. We have some good guys. We have, I think, in my opinion, the best left tackle in the league, Ronnie Stanley. So I think this is going to be a good year in terms of the offensive line, and we're really looking good in terms of that. So yeah, if you're in the stream, what's up? We'll be talking about. I mean, yeah, there's not much to say about that either. Just I think it's a good deal. I'm happy with that deal. I'm not mad. I'm not like I'm not mad. I'm not sad about it. I'm pretty happy about that. But and then, oh yeah, we did have Gus Edwards. He did sign a 2 year deal with the Ravens. And you love to see that. I think this guy he doesn't get enough credit. He's I think he's one of the better running backs in the NFL. He in his first 3 years in the NFL, he's had 700 yards plus in each season, and he's only Nick Chubb and him have done that or something. That's an interesting stat, but I think that's pretty cool. And I think he's him and J.K. Dobbins. That's going to be an elite tandem, in my opinion. That's an underrated duo. Um, but look, I think Gus Edwards. If you actually watch him, he's such a good player. Whenever you give the ball to him, there's not going to be any negative yards. In terms of running the ball. I think like he averaged like 5 yards per carry or something, and he just needs more touches. I think because coming into this season, I think he was like RB2 or RB3. By the end, he was RB2, but he's been RB2 for his whole career, but he still has rushed for 700 yards. So if we did give him that opportunity, he could be as a running back one. He could we don't know. He could have a lot more yards, but we do have J.K. Dobbins and Lamar Jackson, them three splitting the carries. So, and I think Gus is only going to improve. And if you don't know much about him, make sure you watch him this season because I think he's so underrated and he just doesn't get the respect I think he deserves. So yeah, so we'll be going into Aaron Rodgers now. It's gonna be a quick like 20-minute, 15-minute show, normal length. But Aaron Rodgers, I think Aaron Rodgers, like it's just the same. There hasn't been any news. We're just waiting to see if anything happens. Will he sign the deal the Packers offered him? Will he be traded? I don't know. I doubt he'll be traded before the season starts. Like it's just so unlikely. I mean, the only team I could realistically see him go to is obviously the Denver Broncos. But I really don't see him going anywhere else, to be honest. And yeah, and and his teammates are behind him. Jordan Love. He did praise Jordan Love. He said it's nothing about Jordan Love. That's Smith wanting him to leave. It's just the front office how they can't draft him an offensive weapon. How they can't land him those top tier players. But yeah. So and then there was news today that Jordan Love is not. Just today, he did not do well in minicamp. Minicamp did start, so I mean, I don't know. If I was a Packers fan, I would be a bit nervous if Rodgers was to go, which he might. And it is likely. I wouldn't be surprised if he does. But I mean, I'm saying he'll stay. But if you are a Packers fan, I would be nervous because I mean, Jordan Love's never taken an NFL snap. I don't think he seems ready, to be honest. But he'll be your QB1 if Rodgers does leave. But yeah, that's it for that. There's nothing really interesting. And if anything does develop, I will be going live probably. It's summer now, so I have much more time. We'll be doing a lot more live streams. I think I took like a 2 week break or something. I had a lot of school and stuff, so we will be going live a lot more. And if there's any breaking news on Aaron Rodgers, we will be going live right away. So Yeah. So now we have the AFC teams like review. So look, I think I kind of did go over this when I was talking about the Julio Jones trade, just what he adds to that AFC, what he adds to that Titans team. And well, like I said, there's a tier. There's a tier. It's the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills at the top of that tier. And then there's the Baltimore Ravens, Cleveland Browns, and I'd say Tennessee Titans. I guess, I mean, you could make a case that the Tennessee Titans are in that last year, but like I said before, I don't think their defense is good enough. The Miami Dolphins coming off of a good season. I think them and like the Colts would be on that other tier, like good, pretty good, like could make the playoffs. So that how many teams have I listed? I listed the Chiefs, Bills, and then the Browns, Titans, and Ravens. That's 5 teams, seven. And then I'd say the Miami Dolphins and Indianapolis Colts would be the other two teams to make the playoffs. Chiefs obviously getting the first round bye. I don't think anyone's really near close. I mean, you could make the case for the Bills, but I mean, I don't know. I think the Chiefs are just the best. They're going to be unstoppable for the next few years. But I think this, yeah. So that's the tier. But Julio, that's just. I mean, in the playoffs, it's going to be so interesting to see where the Titans can get because, uh, this AFC is so stacked. You have the Baltimore Ravens, you have the Cleveland Browns, and at least the Buffalo Bills, who will be playing in that first round of those playoffs. I think the Raven. I think, and then that AFC North, Ravens versus Browns. Who's gonna win that? I still think the Ravens will retain that, but very much likely could be the Browns. But who gets through into the playoffs? You could see like a Browns like you could see a Browns Ravens matchup in the first round. You could see a Browns Titans matchup in the first round. So that's good. And then in the divisionals, you could see like a Titans Chiefs. Like it's gonna be like if the Titans can't get to I think their goal has to be the AFC Championship game. If they can't get there, then the season was a bust. I think, but it's gonna be so hard to get there with the Chiefs and the Bills in the same conference. Like that's just tough. I mean, they have such an elite offense. I would expect them to get there. Like they got there obviously 2 seasons ago. Um, but then I mean the Kansas City Chiefs. I think I have them making the Super Bowl again, and the Buffalo Bills. They have Stephon Diggs returning for next season. They have so yeah. I mean there isn't there isn't those are the only few teams I think that have a case for making the AFC Championship game, and I ultimately think it will be the Chiefs versus Bills again. But yeah, it's gonna be a stacked AFC conference. I don't even know how it's gonna go. I think the Titans, they're not in that tier just yet, but when the season starts, we'll be able to tell. I wouldn't be surprised if they do join the Chiefs and Bills in that last tier. But yeah, that's it for the video. There wasn't much. There was a few NFL news. There's not much, but we're entering the boring process of the NFL offseason. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. We'll be going probably live maybe every week or every 2 weeks for an NFL show. I will be doing an NBA show. So stay tuned for that. And Jokic and Nikola Jokic did just win the MVP today. So congrats to him. Very well deserved. I think he deserved it. After a MVP caliber season, he revived the big man position. It's been a while since a center has won the MVP. So he really did revive that position. I think he's changed. I think him and Embiid, they're really changing the game. Like Jokic is he's a center, but he plays like a guard type player. He can bring the ball up. I think he almost averaged like a triple double or something like that. That's pretty crazy. We'll be doing maybe a reaction to that. We will be doing a reaction probably to the second round in the NBA players. I did say I'd do a first round reaction, but I think it's too late. I didn't do that, but we'll be doing that in a later video. If you guys enjoyed this one, make sure to subscribe and like the video. More NFL content will be coming. Euros content if you're into soccer. So stay tuned for that. And yeah,